Good morning to everyone. As I said at the beginning, my job is to help companies to get more results with their own websites. To explain what I do quickly, we can say that if our user is point A and a sale or request for contact or information is point B, my job is to find the fastest way to go from point A to point B. First we find the fastest path, and then we convert this path into the most efficient one. Unlike many advisors who are only concerned with visibility, which is bringing users to your website, my job is to convert these users into customers. This means increasing contact requests and conversion rate. Now let's stop to think for a moment. What have we really done to improve our result? In other words, we are driving users to our site because we want this traffic to convert into customers. But in reality, our goal is specifically to convert them into customers. So what specific action have we taken to this end? Normally, when I ask this question to entrepreneurs who contact me, they tell me, I've done this, I've brought traffic to the page. Isn't it enough to drive traffic to the page as I've done so far? And normally, in response, I explain to them that in a study conducted in America, it has been established that for every $92 invested in visibility for a website, only $1 is dedicated to user experience and conversion optimization. Is that it in tools that really increase the results? Therefore, it is a ratio of 92 to 1. 92 to 1. A large number of actions carried out to create visibility, but very few which could be even simpler to convert the user who reaches our site into a customer, performing the action for which we have created our website. The first thing that we must understand, and that is very important, is that for each consideration that we take, we need to start from the fact that the user pays us his attention. When you give us your attention, what happens? Well, exactly the same thing that happens when we lend a book or a CD or anything to someone. We do it voluntarily, but we hope they take care of it. So we must also think that users, when they give us their attention, are actually giving us something, and that is that they are giving us an opportunity. On average, a user makes a first impression of a website by viewing it in the first 0.2 of a second. In person, when we meet someone, we form this first impression in a split second. So on the web we go a little slower, but still it's kind of fleeting. The first impression is an important moment and happens in 0.17 of a second. And what happens after? Well, the following happens. We have about 5 seconds since the user lands on the page to make them understand that we can be the answer that helped them solve their problem, that we can be the right solution. We must not convince at this time. We just have to tell them that they are not wrong. The first objective that we must have is to break this first limit, which is the backtracking. To break the backtracking, we will only need one thing, and it is also something quite simple to understand. It is not technical. When we talk to users, we must speak only to them, only to a single person, and we must speak to this person of your specific problem. Therefore, if you have a problem and I only talk to you, not to everyone, but only to you, I close the fence and talk only about your problem. Only in this way we will get the users to give us their attention and understand that they are not making a mistake, that they are probably already in the right place, and allow us to continue with our communication. But in order to do this, we must not intercept more people. We must intercept problems. Problems, not people. Therefore, we must define the problem that our users have and make these problems subject to our possible solutions. The best, easiest and fastest way is to use ads, since they allow us to profile users based on what they are looking for. So the first thing I do is use Facebook ads to understand what the users' problems are and how users describe this problem, and then drive them to land on a page. But not just any page. I make them land on an effective landing page. A landing page differs from a homepage. A homepage has several objectives and must perform several actions. It must say who we are and show all the services we offer, the contents of the blog, and so on. A landing page, on the other hand, should only say one thing, that is the solution to the user's problem. Normally, the landing page is defined as a specific instrument developed and focused on getting the user to perform a certain action, called conversion, for which the page has been created. But this definition is a bit strange. A landing page is a page that talks to a user about their specific problem, because when we manage to talk to a user about their specific problem, when they land on our page, we have the conversion. Therefore, the conversion is not the objective of the landing page, but the consequence of the fact that we have correctly communicated what we do. To make it even clearer, I'm going to give you an example. Suppose it's 9 o'clock at night. You're home alone and you have a terrible toothache. You have already contacted your dentist, but he tells you that it is already late and to come tomorrow. So you must be content with putting on an ice pack and lying on the sofa to hope that the next day will come quickly. So this 9 p.m. toothache is a very easy to identify type of demand-generating problem. It is an explicit request. So if you want to obtain results that point to this type of problem, it will be something quite easy and quick to do successfully. People who have this problem want to solve it immediately, and it's much easier to intercept a person who needs to solve a problem. This is a page that has been developed not as everyone thinks a web page should be, but in such a way that it is nothing more than the AdWords advertisement wrapped in elements of trust. All of these elements mean that people are not seeing something new and unfamiliar, but instead are seeing the same information that they have seen before in the ad. They have gone from the ad to the landing, and both things are super consistent with each other. So there is no friction. A user goes from the ad to the landing and thinks, okay, I've already read this, and scrolls down. So we have already overcome the first obstacle, the backtracking, because we have managed to make the user enter our offer. Now we can tell you more, because we already have your attention, as you have confirmed in the first 5 seconds that you have not come to a wrong place. Clearly in those 5 seconds we must make clear what we are doing through our landing. Titles should be easily recognizable and legible. You can see this page even 2 meters away from the screen, and still understand what it is talking about. This is a way to respond to an explicit demand. Another type of demand: I go with a hammer against a slow computer. Here the demand is different, as it is not that they are completely losing their mind, they want to find a solution. Maybe they Google something, but maybe not at the moment, since the user is doing other things. Therefore, what happens in this case is that a latent demand has been generated. It is a demand that does not really exist yet, but in which we can create a need for a person who has perhaps partially expressed this demand. In order to do this, I use a different type of advertising, through interruption, which is Facebook ads. What can I do with Facebook ads? Well, I can pick a user who is doing other things, who has been annoyed all day because their computer is slow, and show them an ad that says, is your Mac so slow that it's driving you crazy? We speed up all types of Macs. If you're not 100% satisfied, we'll refund your money. We'll return it to you the same day, and above all, it includes all Macs. This is important because for Apple, if you have your computer for more than 2 years, it is old, and any type of incident that arises is no longer managed for you. Here, on the other hand, through a system in which they replace your hard drive with a solid hard drive, they manage to speed it up effectively. So I see this ad, which is quite different from the previous dentist ad, which was very textual, since it works by interrupting, and therefore it must capture users' attention. So our go with a hammer clicks and lands on the site and finds out that it expands the offer and the explanation of what we do, but with as little friction as possible. It's called a landing page because they are landing pages, and it works the same way as an airplane landing. When we land on board an airplane, the moment it hits the ground, the only thing that matters is that you don't feel the impact with it. The same goes for the user. You have to go in, land and continue to descend, and when this happened, the landing works. Now that I know all this, while I've been experimenting and learning little by little, I've written a book in which I've written down all this information, much more complex than what I have to say here today. But if we pay attention to the complete funnel, we can actually see that it's not only made up of 2 parts, because if we want to become really effective and make our offer really unbeatable, what do we have to do? We must start with the landing until the conversion, and then demonstrate to the user that they have made the right decision. Therefore, if he expected a 10, I give him a 15. When the extended satisfaction goes beyond expectations, then I ask for his feedback, which will help me to continue selling my offer, which is it will become more and more effective over time. When I now look at the Futuro Immagine projects from 5 years ago, I really don't like them so much anymore because you can tell they're old. But when I read the references, where they tell me how well I've done or that I delivered the project within the agreed time, it is always beautiful. Therefore, references are the most important thing for any company, and collecting them is one of the most important things we must do. Thank you.